Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the Planning Commission. I'm here today to present a project by Casas de Estrada, Inc. It's a 36-unit condominium project located at the corner of Ligonia Avenue and Church Street. If we take a look at the slide, I'll go ahead and show you what we're talking about. So as we look at the slide, we see that the zoning is R2 at the southwest corner for this 36-unit condominium project. The zoning to the west of the site is R2. The zoning across the street from Ligonia is R2. Catty corner, or to the northeast from the site, is R2. And then across the street from Church, we have C2. So, and then south of this proposed site, we have R2 and R1. The site to the south, even though it's zone R2 and R1, presently has a private school from K through 12. So the next slide shows an aerial of the site. The site is approximately 2.56 acres. It is presently vacant, and to my knowledge has always been. The density for this site is actually would allow up to 38 units. And this site will only have 36. So it's in compliance as far as the density goes. So I'm now going to go through a number of slides just to familiarize ourselves with the site. This particular view here is standing on the north side of Ligonia Avenue, looking south onto the site. Hard to tell, but you can see the K-12 school in the background. So in this slide here, we're standing on the east side of the site, looking west. Again, we see that the site is empty, it's vacant. To the far back, we can barely make out the apartments. But if we take a look up close at the curb, we see that the curb is somewhat deteriorated. So there will need to be improvements. That whole curb there will have to be removed, and they will need to install new curb and gutter. In this slide here, we're standing at the site, the project site. We're looking across the street to the north. There presently exist condominiums on that site. Here we're actually standing on the site looking to the west. So we're looking into the existing apartments. What I'd like to point out here is that there will be a 3-foot retaining wall with a 6-foot high garden wall on top of that at the west property line. So that'll act as a buffer between the two properties. There will also be some trees and some other landscaping planted to provide a greater buffer between the two properties. Here again we're standing on the site. Now we're looking to the south where the private K-12 school exists. Again, on this property line, the south property line, there will be a 6-foot high block wall installed with trees and other landscaping to provide a buffer between the school and the proposed site. So this is a view from the project site looking to the east across the street at Church Street. That's the commercial site that includes the drugstore, a supermarket, restaurant, and other commercial uses. Here we have a view to the northeast. Again, more apartment complexes there. So as we saw from the slides, all the properties in the surrounding area are very well maintained, which will add extra value to this new project. So there was an environmental review performed on this project, and it has been recommended that a mitigated negative declaration be approved. There are 8 measures that you will find in the staff report. So if you like, after this we can talk some more about that. I haven't mentioned that the site does include 6 different buildings. 5 of those buildings are for the units themselves, and then the 6th building is the recreation building, and just north of that recreation building is the swimming pool and the spa. So you had a chance to look at the drawings on that, and again, you can ask questions about that after I finish my presentation here, or at your convenience. There was a requirement for a socioeconomic cost and benefit study. This project will provide a benefit excuse me, according to the study that was done, there should be, for every dollar spent by the city, the project should provide at least $1.67 in revenue. So that's a plus or a positive for this project. As to the project density, the site is approved for up to 38 units. So this project has 36 units, so that's in compliance. So as far as the setbacks and the building height and so forth, there is a table in the staff report that shows that this project does comply with all the requirements. So I'm not going to go into that. Again, if you wish to ask questions about it later, I can answer those questions. As to parking and circulation, there will be a drive aisle on the west side and on the south side. So there will be a driveway that comes in off of Ligonia at the northwest corner, and then will exit or enter at Church Street at the southeast corner of the site. There will also be garages provided for the tenants, and there will be a parking area for the guests. And again, in the staff report, that does include how many parking spaces were required and shows that they have more than what is necessary. As far as the architecture goes, it is a Spanish Mediterranean style. So let me show you a slide on what that is going to look like. So here we have a slide of some Spanish Mediterranean architecture. This is only similar to what is going to be built, not what is actually being built. So we see here that we have the Spanish tile roof, reddish orange in color. We have a smooth plaster finish on the exterior. This will be a tannish, amberish color. We have arches, we have wrought iron. So all of this type of architecture that we see here will be implemented in this condominium project also. So staff has recommended approval of the architecture. However, as is customary, the Commission may review it some more and may request that there be some changes made. The landscaping plan was submitted. The plan does show where the trees are going to be located. Doesn't show though where all the bushes and other shrubs are to be located. So it's still lacking. Staff recommends that they take it back and refine the plan, and then have you take a look at it after that and bring it back for approval. As to walls and fencing, the site, as mentioned earlier, will have a solid block wall along the west property line and the south property line. Along the street frontages, there will be tubular steel fencing. So that will be a view fence. So again, staff has recommended approval of this project, with the exception of the landscape plan that needs to go back and be refined. The architectural will be left for the Commission to review further and decide whether they want to accept it as it is. Staff does approve the architecture that was submitted. So included in the staff report is a list of conditions of approval. The staff recommends that this project be approved as is, with the exception of the landscape plan, which needs to be refined and brought back to the Commission for approval. Other than that, the project appears to have been designed well. So I'm now open to questions that you may have. Thank you very much.